I don't give a shit about upvotes and downvotes. If you guys have followed me for a while, you know that I don't ask people to like, share, subscribe and stuff. Do what you want. But the tower scares people. Now, if you're going through that tower moment, if you're not going through it, if you're looking at that and thinking, well, my world is pretty stable, nothing's really changed, this is not your message. The people that this message is for, you know it. Because I bet you everything looks different. Everything has changed. Things that you were banking on, things that you thought you could build on, things that you were committed to and making them happen, they've just blown off. They've gone off in the wind. It's all been shaken up. There's a reason for that. And obviously, you know, I believe, you don't have to believe this, but I believe everything happens for our highest good. And I always come from, that's what I've experienced in my life. But when we're standing in the rubble of that bloody tower that has collapsed, it's, you know, it's hard to believe that. And it's okay to own that. That's where the Three of Swords is coming in for you guys. She's the best person to take care of that shit. But let's see. Okay. We have the Three of Swords coming up as your underlying energy. Now, this is there's no way to sugarcoat the Three of Swords. When you are experiencing the Three of Swords, that is pain, that is heartache, that is loss. Now, swords are our thoughts, our beliefs, our ideas, and how we communicate them, right? And yet I always feel like the Three of Swords is the most emotional of the swords cards, even though they're all about logic and thought, air energy, right? It's our energy. But have a look. She's got 3 swords in the heart there. But when it asks us to look at what is truly causing that pain, what's truly causing that pain. Now, have a look here. She's coming here, she's placing, I love the Three of Swords in this deck, by the way. She's placing flowers on this grave, right? She comes here, just come here every day. Look how many flowers are on there. Now, she is reacting to that. That's what's caused the pain. The loss of something has caused the pain. And yet it isn't. The actual, what's physically causing her the pain, what's truly there are the 3 swords in her heart. The stories that we have around the pain. The stories that we have around the loss. Yes, there has been a physical loss. That gravestone shows that. Some of you have gone through a breakup, a loss of some kind. Something has been lost here. And I kind of feel like for a lot of you, it's something physical. The job, the relationship, the whatever. Something's gone. There's not enough of something. And the fact that she's coming up is to do with the material. But it's the stories that we have around that. Now, the Three of Swords asks us to look at the stories that we have around our life. You didn't cause this. So it's not a card of blame. It's not that, oh, stop being stupid and getting upset about that. It's none of that. But this is where, you know, there can be a sense of, this happened again? Why has this happened again? So it asks you to look at, okay, think back to the stories that you picked up. Like your parents' marriage. That's our first experience of relationships. How you were treated at school. What you believe about the things that you deserve. That's key here. Those ideas and the stories that we have. Stories that we tell about our lives, about ourselves. People always do this. You know, guys are always losers. You know, girls always stab you in the back. Whatever. Because that's the narrative of our life. The Three of Swords asks us to remove those swords once and for all. Remove them. Let's heal that. Let's get rid of them. Let's make it so that we can, you know, because what happens with this is that we can date different people and yet the relationships are the same. We go to different workplaces and yet we get treated the same everywhere. So then what is the common denominator there? It's us, how we're experiencing it. Like I said, it's not about blame. And I always take a moment to explain the Three of Swords because I think it's too easy for people to say, oh yeah, third party situation. There may be a third party situation. That could be one outcome of what's happened here. But that's not going to be the case for everyone. And a third party situation isn't always infidelity. And you'll know about that. The cards aren't here to predict that shit. So don't start looking for it in your life. You will know this because something has shaken your world apart to the foundations. Now, what comes out of that is the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups means a number of things. But the one that I'm seeing very clearly here, especially if you're going through this pain, and I talk about this in the outro a little bit, it's that be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. That's why I feel like telling you, don't blame. This is not about blame. This is about getting yourself through this to pull those 3 swords out. And the Page of Cups can be our inner child. It's our inner child. We are fabulous parents to children in our life. Most of us, right? We're really great parents. Like, you know, we give them stuff to do. We keep them occupied. We give them treats. We, you know, get them ready for school, give them routine, discipline, all of that stuff. And yet we don't do that with ourselves. We can be very hard on ourselves. So you're being encouraged, especially with the Page of Cups coming up, is to nurture your inner child. What does your child need at this time? That kind of, if there was an upset child, and that's upset, that's pain, that's grief. If there was a kid that was hurting in front of you, we all have that little 5-year-old within us. If you saw a little 5-year-old, my nephew's 5 as well, so, if I saw him upset, I'm not going to start blaming him and saying, why are you upset? You did that to yourself, or you should have known better, or blah, blah, blah. You're not going to do that. You're going to hug the kid. You're going to, hold the kid, comfort the child. And you're being asked to do that for yourself. And that's key this week. This kind of place of taking care of your needs and being gentle and kind with yourself. That little 5-year-old inside of you needs you right now. Now, when you do that and you look at this pain, and it's okay to go through pain. I'm not into this whole love and light thing. The shadows, the pain, the heartache, that is what gets us to places of love and light. But like I said, when we're in the midst of that rubble, it's awful. What's coming out of this, and some of you are already through this has already happened, and you're starting to face this kind of, what's my new truth out of this? Something that's coming through strong here out of this is you're going to have a new truth. And, you could say that to anyone that gets the Ace of Swords. I think Virgo just got the Ace of Swords. And yeah, that's a new truth. That's the Ace of Swords. New philosophy, new idea, new way of communicating, a new truth that comes through. But put that in the hand of an air sign. Put that in the hand of a Libra, no less. The Justice card is your card. And Lady Justice stands there with a sword of truth. That is the judgment that gets passed. There is a judgment that's come in. Think about that, the Ace of Swords. That's your truth. Now, it's a sword. So when that sword drops, this shit's not happening again. You cut that crap out. You cut the infection out. You remove those swords. You're like, this is done. My inner child deserves more than this. And so, that's the focus here. There's a new truth coming out of this. Be kind with yourself while you see it. This blame, self-recrimination, or even blaming other people, that doesn't serve. I'm not saying condone what they did, and forgiveness takes time to get there. And the Three of Swords is the card of forgiveness as well. It takes time to get to forgiveness. But for now, it's about nurturing yourself. And a new truth is being born out of that. That's why I love these butterflies in this deck, because that's transformation. Coming out of that cocoon, this beautiful butterfly that's being born. But the cycles run from the Ace to the 10. Now, when we get the Ace of Swords, the card before it, if you think about the cycle, is the 10 of Swords. Being left face down in the dirt with 10 swords in our back. Betrayed, deception, being let down, feeling like we messed up. Doesn't always have to be someone else that did it to us. We feel like, oh my God, I messed up. But it's saying, pull those swords out, get a new truth out of it. The writing is on the wall. You know who to trust, who not to trust. You know what paths work, you know what doesn't work. A new day's dawning. It's time to grab that sword. Now, I really kind of get the sense of when I'm talking, the energy of this is like trying to rally the troops. We can do this. The fights, we're going to go forward. We're going to beat this one. Yeah, we took a hit in the last battle, but we're going to go, we lost a battle. We have not lost the war. We have not lost the war. And that's the kind of way I can describe the energy of this reading. Powerful, very powerful. That's how I know. If this is your message, you know it. If it's not, you probably clicked off already, because you will know this. There's no way you'd have to make this fit, because it's there in your face. You're feeling it right now. You're probably lying flat on your face on the floor right now, looking up at the thing. Not literally, but, energetically at least. So like I said, 4 of Wands in the past. This is where you thought you had a solid foundation. You thought, I've committed to this. I've taken action on this. I'm so grateful for what I have. I'm committed to making this into something more. How did it fall apart? 4 of Wands can be a change of job, change of environment, whatever it is, but it's in the past, last week, last month, last year. You were building on something. You were committed to building this thing. The career, the relationship, your self-work, whatever. I mean, I take a magnifying glass to the energies, right? We're looking at this. Nothing happens in a vacuum, so we're looking at one aspect of this. This could be the inner work. Out of nowhere, you feel like shit, like old stories have come up out of nowhere from your childhood. But we do that to clear it out. That's the purge. That's the cleanse. That's this cutting it out. The swords dropping. So I want you to look at this now. We've got the Tower here. The Tower frees us. Sometimes we don't want to be freed, right? We don't want to be liberated. But that Tower is something that we've built. The Devil comes before the Tower. And the thing is with the Devil, at first it looks great. The Devil always shows up with a smile on his face. It's tempting, right? I'm going to do this for the money. This person's so sexy. Like, it's that kind of energy. It never looks horrible or evil. And yet it becomes something obsessive. It becomes something toxic. And before we know it, we're trapped in the tower. And it feels safe and secure there, right? Because I built this. And we tell ourselves that stuff. But you're not moving on your path. At some point, you stopped progressing forward. You were held back. And it's the chains that we allow to hold us back that hold us back. And so ultimately, the tower liberates us. But yeah, it feels like shit when it happens. Something shocking happens. Now, this can be an epiphany. There may be something physical, not even something physical has happened to you. It's that lightning, shocking epiphany, aha moment, a shift in your truth. Why have you got a new truth? Something has happened, or there's a realization that's coming that showed you this. Are you taking care of your needs? I love the Queen of Pentacles coming up here, because the Queen of Pentacles, if she sees value in something, she will make it work. She will make it work. So around you, something's collapsed, something that you believed, a relationship, job, whatever, right? As I've said before, it's fallen apart. And yet you are solid, Libra. You're the Queen of Pentacles. She's solid. She's abundant. She will take her time. She's going to make it happen. And she's into quality, not quantity. She doesn't want that fast food takeaway. She's going to prepare that home cooked meal with love and attention, because that's the healthier option for herself and her family. Do you see what I mean? She does that. Pentacles is about a long-term security and stability. And I think some of you were under the illusion that something outside of yourself could give it to you. And it wasn't real. The tower dropped it. But you're solid. You are strong. You can do this. Now, that's great, right? But I want you to look at this. So the tower came in. Some of you are dealing with the reverberations of that now. There's something that you're dealing with now. It might have already happened, but you're dealing with it now. This week, it's very clear. Out of this, what you realize with the tower, you cannot rebuild the tower with all of that crap that's lying around. So think about it. If you had that tower and it fell and you're standing there in the rubble, your first reaction is going to be like, oh my God, like what's going on? Like, this is my tower. You will have that. It will upset you. It might hurt. Then you will get to a point, hopefully sooner rather than later. But, we take our time how we do it, which is like, somebody clear this shit out of the way. I'm going to rebuild something new and even better. Something that is worthy of me. Something that has more value. Now that's where this Ace of Swords comes in. Whatever this new truth is that you have based on what's happened. Because that's not the point. What's happened is not the point. It's what do you do with that? How are you going to build with this now? It means something has to get cut out. Something has to get dropped. A way of thinking, a way of communicating, a way of what you give to people. It could be a literal burden. Like, why are you carrying everything? We have the 10 of Wands here. This is a struggle. This is where we've got a lot on our plate. And now for some of you, it might be that, rebuilding seems like the 10 of Wands. It's a struggle. But I don't see it as that. Not with the ace sat above it. This is like if you mentally have a new truth now. There's a new truth coming in. Where's the inspiration though? And that's where I think you're kind of lacking, because you're still at the 10 of Wands here, which Wands are our inspiration, our creativity, our passion. And everything that you wanted before, it's become a burden. Of course it's become a burden because it went like this. So you're getting ready to drop that. And that's when then the Ace of Wands will come in. That's the inspiration. That's the passion to try something new. And you have the Wheel of Fortune coming up as your advice. The Wheel of Fortune is saying the wheel is turned. This is fate. Now, what is fate? Some people don't believe in that whole karmic stuff or anything. You don't have to. You don't have to have all that kind of what some people call woo-woo spiritual stuff. Have faith in yourself. And then in terms of fate, it's all semantics, right? Fate is going to be those things that we have no control over. You did not have control over that tower falling. We cannot control other people's actions. We can't control the layoffs at work or losses that we've had. Those are things that happen to us. Then our choices, what we choose to understand about that, what we choose to do with that knowledge and experience that we've had, how we go forward with that truth. And the Wheel of Fortune is saying, look, there's going to be no consolation, like I said, if you're stood in the tower, but this was fated and it was meant to happen so you could have a second chance at something. And there will be a second chance at this. This might have been the false kind of foundation, but you can rebuild something stronger and something truer. The reason it didn't work before, that's why there's no point in blaming or judging, right? Is that you needed to go through that to have the knowledge that you have now to get what you want. Everything's a stepping stone. Everything is part of the journey and part of the process of what you're trying to build. So, say I'm trying to climb a mountain and I go halfway up and then I slide all the way down, or, something happens. I might have more knowledge now. I might be like, okay, well, I know that side of the mountain doesn't work. And I actually figured out that I can do this and I can do that. And so I can actually get up the mountain even faster than if I had carried up that side. So it all plays in, but that's little consolation, like I said, when we're going for this. But there's something you can build now. You're solid. You are grounded. You are solid. Trust that. Trust that. And the Wheel of Fortune is saying, okay, I kind of feel like for some of you, you've gone through this, whether there's been a pause or not. There's no more pauses. It's asking you, well, get up, Libra, let's go. You are right, shake it off, let's go. So some of you might feel like, I'm not ready for that yet. I'm doing this still. And that's why it feels like a burden, climbing up that slope, right? But there's an opportunity to do something. Yeah, 8 of Pentacles. So it's what you work on, what you invest your time and energy into. Because have a look at him. It's almost like if the tower fell, think about the story that we have coming up here. The tower fell. That's the home. That's your security. That's your tower. It's fallen. It's almost like he's got all his worldly goods and he's going somewhere else now. And it feels like a burden. But he's going to find inspiration. He's going to find passion. And it's an uphill journey for him. It's not like it's easy, but he's doing it because of this truth. And the 8 of Pentacles is something, it's the work that we put in, the focus that we put in to build it, our long-term security and stability. Outwardly, or, inwardly even, with our new truth coming in, something's collapsed. But it's so you could apply your talents, your skills, whatever it is, into an area that works for you. That works for you. But please be aware of the stories that you tell yourself. All right, let's see why that Wheel of Fortune is there. I'm going to say this, with that coming up, the 2 clarifiers coming up, it's almost like this greatest upheaval that you've had, it's bringing in a level of security that you only thought you had before. It's bringing the true stability, like Emperor, coming back into your power, Libra. This is so you can take control of a situation. Now, the Emperor, if you're dealing with someone else and whatever's going on here, it might be that they're stubborn. And there's no way to get through to the Emperor. He is an emperor. He's all about his empire. My way or the highway. That's how he does things. But the only way to deal with someone like that is you stand in your power. If he's not going to let you make him do what he doesn't want to do, then how can he make you do what you don't want to do? You be true to yourself, to your path, to the opportunities that come up for you, to what you want to begin. It's number 10 as well, but that boils down to a 1. It's a new beginning, a new cycle, a new way of doing things. We keep doing the things the way that we did. We're going to keep getting what we got. And here it might be a reliance on others, the colleagues, the family, lovers, whatever it is here. But the urging of him is stand up, take control of this. For yourself. What are you trying to build for yourself? Not with others. I'm not saying there won't be others, because there will be, right? There will be. That's where we find our place of belonging. The card that comes after the Emperor is the Hierophant. What we commit to. Others are like-minded. But we stand in our power first to show this is who I am. I am in my power. He's a card of control. He's someone that brings order. And it's almost like, no matter what chaotic stuff's happening around you, it's like inwardly, it's to ask you to stand in your power. What is your power? It's your power to choose. It's your power to choose. All right, someone else got this. I don't know who it was. Maybe it's Leo, maybe Cancer. I don't remember. Spiritual connection. This relationship has a connection that goes beyond this lifetime. Now, this can actually screw us up. This can actually screw us up royally. Why am I saying that? Because I need to think about this. If this is a romantic reading for you, something has majorly gone tits up with that tower there. Now, it doesn't even have to be in the relationship. It could be something outside of the relationship that's happened. The tower makes relationship. It's make or break for relationships. That's what the tower is. Make or break. If you still see the value in it, then you can make it work. But it's time, energy, nurturing. That does not mean putting up with crap, right? But the beauty of the spiritual connection card is that our spiritual connections, those sacred unions, whatever you want to call them, right? Soulmates, and they come in all walks of life. They don't always come with hugs and kisses. Sometimes they come with, slaps and kicks. Not literally, I'm hoping. But, energetically speaking, karmically speaking. They bring us home to ourselves. They bring us home to who we are. They show us our own power. We step into our own power. They don't give us our self-worth. I'm thinking about like my favorite ex. I would say this, my favorite ex. He's my favorite ex because I loved who I was in that relationship. He was just a trigger for that, for what I held inside of me anyway. And that's what this is about too. We find that power within us in the good and the bad. So that's the beauty of a spiritual connection, that we can't explain it, but we can be drawn to someone. But the downside of the spiritual connection is because there's this deep, profound connection with someone. If we have a longing for them, we're connected with, no matter what we do, we can't forget that person, right? It's that those swords in our heart. That's what the inner child yearns for. We can put up with shit that we wouldn't put up with otherwise. And that's not what the spiritual connection is about. It's about showing you what your power is, stepping into your own power. And you have faith. If it's a spiritual connection, it is beyond this lifetime. It's beyond the physical. And so that person, whether you go running ahead on your path, whatever you do, I get asked that all the time. Should I move on? You should always be moving forward. If that's your person, they will catch up to you. Or you might even find them, they've kind of teleported ahead. You'll bump into them. But you keep being true to yourself and your power. That's your vibration. Step into. And when you're in an empowered place, and if you call in a person, they are going to come from an empowered place too. Yep. All right. I don't see this card very often. And yet that's what's happened here. There's been a rejection and not for you. Now, either it's happened physically. You've been told this is not for you. You can't have this. And that's what's causing all the pain. Or that's your epiphany that you've had. There could have been a flip inside of you. And it can go both ways, guys. It's, a general reading. But it's almost like, yeah, I'm committed. I'm going to do this. I'm grateful. I'm going to build in this. Like, oh, shit, I don't really want this anymore. I don't see value in it. Or I don't want to keep nurturing this or giving my energy to it. Whether it's been decided for you or whether you decide it for yourself, there is a sense of this isn't for me. This isn't for me. But then what is for you? Why is it not for you? And the Wheel of Fortune, and for some of you, it's like, you might have been told that this is not for you before because there's something better out there. Or that wasn't the right time for it. There will be another time for it. The Wheel of Fortune, obviously the time is now. Like, go for it. The opportunity comes in. Just because we get a no now, or like a rejection from a job or, whatever, doesn't mean if we apply for another one or go back 6 months later that we won't get it. Maybe the timing wasn't right. What we knew at that time wasn't right.